the afternoon experiment. My name is Emanuel Livingston. I'm with you until 5 o'clock this afternoon. Till 5 o'clock this afternoon. Whew, I'm tired again. I'm tired again. Not sleepy. Tired. Wore out. That's all right. That's all right. I'm here. We're going to make it through. We're going to make it through. As usual, I got Wyatt on in the background. Got Wyatt on in the background. Checking him out. uh, I you really should. If you don't watch his show, you really should check out his show, Wyatt Live. Just search Wyatt Live, Facebook, YouTube. Search it anywhere. I don't know all the platforms that he's on. I watch him on Facebook. I know he's on YouTube. Search all his platforms. He's an interesting guy. He's a smart guy. He's a smart guy. Um, but I'll talk about a little bit of what he's talking about, just kind of as a, I don't even want to say as a response, because it's not really a response. It's just, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it. But of course, we start the show off. Me saying hi to you, you saying hi to me, you telling me, I'm Emanuel Livingston. I'm checking in from Avondale, and you tell me who you are, who you checking in, where you checking in from. 513-717-5464. That's the number to get on board. I'm trying to minimize something up here. All right. That's the number to get on board. 513-717-5464. Sorry about that. I'm yawning. That don't mean I'm sleepy. I'm just wore out. I'm wore out. Let's get this started, because this is my favorite part of the show. Look, for my money, I would do this part of the show and then say, all right, y'all, I'm out. Peace. That would be the whole show. Y'all want somebody to talk to people and have stuff to talk about and say stuff that makes sense. It's a lot of pressure. All right, let's get to it. We got Robert Willis. Robert Willis, as always. Good afternoon, Robert. Good afternoon. Shirley, my cousin. I'm glad you don't say, hi, cousin Emanuel. I hate it when people do that. Like, the person that you're talking to, they know they're your cousin. Why do you have to say to them, hi, cousin? They know. Now, look, I only did it because y'all don't know that she's my cousin. So I wanted y'all to know that she's my cousin. So if I, give her some preferential treatment, then you understand, oh, that's his cousin. That's why he's giving her preferential treatment. But typically, I'm not like, hi, cousin Shirley. I hate when people do that. It don't hurt me. It bothers me a little bit. Good afternoon. We got Carolyn in the house. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining. We have Jerica in the house. She says, hola, como estes. All right. Well, holo, como estes to you too. Look, I don't know why I do that. I know it's hola, como estás. I know that. It just feels better to read it like American. Hola, como estes. I got issues. I know. Good afternoon, Jerica. We got Kevin. Kevin in the house. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Oh, he wasn't saying afternoon to me. He was talking to the beautiful people. But I'm saying good afternoon to you as well. Miss Pittsburgh. Miss Pittsburgh says good afternoon. She just left Wyatt's show. Wyatt on there going in. He on there going in. But good afternoon, Miss Pittsburgh. We got Terry. Terry, good afternoon. Checking in from downtown. Good afternoon. We got Blade in the house. Good afternoon, Blade. He says, "Who, Jim?" I don't. I maybe he's doing the same thing. Who, Jim? Maybe he's speaking Chinese, but he's writing it out phonetically, and so it looks like Who, Jim, but it's actually Who, Jim, something Chinese, and maybe that means good afternoon in Chinese. So Who, Jim, to you as well, Blade. Who, Jim? Uh, we got Mary. Good afternoon, Mary. Oh, hold on. I got to put the chat up. I got to put the chat up. Y'all never remind me to put the chat up. Good afternoon, Mary. White Oak in the house. McConnell in the house. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Fairfield checking us out. We got Tierra Powell in the house, a former friend of the week. A former friend of the week. Thus, a celebrity. You know, I love when the celebrities are here. So we got former, uh, what is it? Because it's about to be sponsored. Former Dukester side piece friend of the week, Tierra Powell in the house. Good afternoon, Tierra. Good afternoon. Let's see. Anthony. Anthony, good afternoon. The wood, he says, in the house. All right. Um, we got Logic Slayer. Says, what up? Good afternoon from Mount Airy. Where did I get Mount Airy? What is wrong? I'm so tired. Golf Manor. It clearly says Golf Manor. It clearly says Golf Manor. I'm talking about Mount Airy. I don't even know where I got that from. I don't know where I got that from. Jerica checking in from Dayton. All right. Kevin is in the car on his way to pick up the daughter. Can't beat that. We got Regina. Good afternoon, Regina. Regina checking in from work. Tierra says she's checking in from the west side. All right. And she threw up the Spock Vulcan thing. I think it's hard to do. I'm not accustomed to doing it. I think it was how did they do that back in the day? It was supposed to be the W, but it's like the Vulcan. It's hard for me to manipulate my fingers in that way. But I see what you was trying to do. That's really all that matter. I see what you was trying to do. We got Maria in the house from North College Hill. Maria in the house from North College Hill. Tria checking us out from Columbia Township. Carolyn from East Walnut Hills. I still always want to say Earth, Wind, and Fire. Checking in from East Walnut Hills. Carolyn, good afternoon. Mary says, put up the chat. I say I hadn't gotten that far. So either you really early and then I'm late getting to you, or you late because I already did it and now you putting it up. I'm going to go with the option where I'm right. McConnell says, oh man, you need a nap. I think I do. I think I'm nap age now. I'm nap age. That's funny because the grandbaby just now graduating from nap age. I don't think they take naps in kindergarten. They don't take naps in kindergarten, so she be coming home wore out because she didn't get her nap. So what, about 5, you graduate from naps, and then around 50, you go back to naps. I think I'm back nap age. Got Pamela in the house. Pamela, good afternoon. Checking in from North Avondale. Preston says, Avondale, most definitely here. All right. Claudette. Greetings. Hey, cousin Emanuel. Greetings, Claudette. Lonzo in the house. What up, E-Man? 4 straight days. That's a world record. Oh, don't be a hater. Don't be a hater. Right, and that's why other folks say cousin too. It's for the outside folk. Well, we don't necessarily need to know if you just responding to somebody's post. Erica says, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Erica. Redden checking in. Let's Let's see. Or No Sense. Good afternoon from Cincinnati. All right, Janice. Janice participated in the good afternoons. You did it ever so slightly wrong, but that's okay. That's okay. Because, if you're from Cincinnati, you're supposed to say from the neighborhood in Cincinnati. But look, hey, we all got to start somewhere. We all got to start somewhere. Good afternoon, Janice. Good afternoon, Janice. Uh, Let me see. We had Pamela in there. Uh, uh, Pamela. Okay. Sometimes they might not be sure if it actually is Cousin Scooter because they don't know their government name. They know Miss Little Tay Tay. Okay. Okay. All right. That makes sense. Tiara talking about Don't Start because she's the former Dukester side piece friend of the week. All right. All right. I'll leave it alone. I'll leave it alone. Sierra in the house. Boston checking in. Happy Friday Eve. E-Man and the Lab Tech crew. Uh, Dukester side piece. It's got to be. He's waiting to get a sponsor. If you don't watch the Lincoln Ware show, some of this stuff is like a little over your head. Lincoln Ware does this thing that he calls the Citizen of the Week. But the Citizen of the Week is always someone that he knows personally. It's never just a citizen who did something good the previous week. It's always someone that he knows personally. So I call them the Friend of the Week because it's just going to be his friends. That's it. And like even one week, I remember when there was that fire in Forest Park, and the dude, busting the fire and saved the whole family. I'm like, he gonna be the Citizen of the Week. And I asked Lincoln Ware, like, why don't you make him the Citizen of the Week? And Lincoln said, and I promise y'all, I'm not kidding y'all, even a little bit. Lincoln said, well, I will make him the Friend of the Week, but I don't know him. I don't know him. And I'm like, so only people you know can be the Citizen of the Week? If I don't know you, then how you gonna be the Citizen of the Week? And I'm like, okay, don't be mad at me. I was just checking. And so I said, then it's not the Citizen of the Week, it's the Friend of the Week, because you have to personally know them. And so I call it the Friend of the Week. Now, the Lincoln Ware jockers get mad at me. Why you calling it the Friend of the Week? Why can't it just be, if you don't like it, you do your own, it's his show, he can do whatever he want to do, and he can. But it's my mouth. I can call it whatever I want to call it. But he stopped naming the Friend of the Week, what he calls the Citizen of the Week, because he says they're going to get a sponsor for the Friend of the Week. So I'm trying to think of who is going to be the sponsor. And I'm thinking about the people who advertise with the station, because it'll probably be somebody that advertises with the station that wants to kind of up their profile and be mentioned. It ended up being live mentions. So he'll have to do it like, once or twice an hour so that they get the right amount of mentions. And I'm like, the Dukester, he be advertising, and he do what, side piece Thursdays or whatever it is. So it would be like the Dukester side piece Thursday Friend of the Week. The we cook up barbecue rib Friend of the Week. I was gonna say to Jeff Weiler, but no, he lost that one. It would be something along those lines. So I'm just trying to, I'll be listening to the sponsors. The Half Price Roofing Friend of the Week. The what's the lawyer? Who's the lawyer who do the thing? He sponsor a whole lot of their stuff. I can't think of his name. But him, the Blake Maislin, friend of the week. Thank you, Tierra. The Blake Maislin, friend of the week. What's the little carpet place? The half off carpet, friend of the week. The Windburn Report Golden Fried Chicken friend of the week. It'll be sponsored. It'll be something. It'll be something. But it is what it is. I'm not mad at him. I just think it's hilarious that you can only be the citizen of the week if he knows you personally. Like literally, you could go in, save a whole family from a fire. On your way down, stop a kid from getting ran over by a car in the middle of the street. Roll over the car and see somebody having a heart attack. Save their life. Before the ambulance get there, get over to the other side of the street and stop a dog from attacking an old lady. And then when you done, you're like, woo. Lincoln, he did all of that. I don't know him. I don't know him. So how am I going to make him the citizen of the week? So then it's just the friend of the week. Don't get mad when we call it what we call it. Plus, I do like to pick with Lincoln, so it is what it is. Oh. No, Vincent. It wasn't that I got under his skin. It's not that I got under his skin that he got to reboot it. I truly believe that maybe somebody showed some interest in being the sponsor. So they said, well, we're going to hold off on it, which I don't understand why you would stop doing it to wait for a sponsor. But, I mean, he only has a finite number of people in his phone that he can name that, and he don't want to run out of people before the sponsorship start. Then he'll actually have to find, citizens who did something that week. Caller.
Hey, how you doing, Emanuel?
I'm doing good. How are you?
It is Tierra, pal. So I want to
Tierra.
set the record straight. I was not friends with Lincoln or anything when I was Citizen of the Week. I had only actually met him in person once or twice. The only thing he knew is that I was running for city council 2 years ago.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I just had to get that out there because I don't want people to think that I was friends with Lincoln.
But he knows you, right?
Knows of me.
Well, he know you. Y'all had conversations?
Briefly about, rerunning for city council and stuff like that.
Right. So y'all done had conversations, so he know you.
I know, but you guys make it seem like it's actually his really good friend.
Nah, he just...
I wouldn't use the word friend.
Oh. he gonna rescind your Dukester side piece friend of the week title. You better not say that y'all not friends.
I mean, we're cool now. Like, I see him more often and at more events and things like that. It's different now, but not at the time of my, I guess, what do you call it, recognition for Citizen of the Week.
All right. All right.
Just wanted to set the record straight, so have a good one.
I appreciate that, Tia. And I'm sure you deserved the Citizen of the Week for what you did the week before that you were named Citizen of the Week.
I would hope it's not for just the week before. I hope it's for everything that I've been doing, even though I don't look for recognition, but it wasn't just the week before. I hope not.
Well, shouldn't it be? I mean, if you really just think about it, right? Like the NFL season is about to start. I won't be watching those games because I'm not a damn sellout. But when they name the AFC Player of the Week, should that just be for somebody who's been good for 5 years, or should that be for somebody who excelled that week?
Oh, that's true, but you also have to think about things like the Hall of Fame.
Right, but that's not the Player of the Week.
Okay, maybe you got me. That's fine. Whatever.
So here's what we'll do. We'll just transition you into the Lincoln Ware Friend Hall of Fame, not necessarily the friend of the week.
I appreciate that. Whatever floats your boat, Emmanuel. I do not want to fight with you. I want no beef.
Oh, Tiara, thank you for calling.
All right, have a good one.
You too. I like when people are good sports. I'm just picking with Tiara. She know it. And Lincoln know I'm just picking with him too. Um, uh, I like that. The Friend Hall of Fame. You got to do both. Who's the friend of the week? The one who did something this week. And then who's in the Friend Hall of Fame? Someone who has done great things for a long time. I like that. I'm going to pitch that to Lincoln. Maybe he can get that sponsored. So when they're putting people into the Black Cincinnati Music Walk of Fame, sometime later, they can put it into, they can come up with something. He know Alicia Reed's real good. And they can get together and come up with Lincoln Ware Citizen Hall of Fame and just pack it up with his friends. That all works. Why y'all got me in here on Lincoln? Unc, are you going to see Equalizer 3? I will watch it. I'm still not back in the... But first, good afternoon, Chelsea. If you hadn't noticed, I'm her uncle. Good afternoon, and I'm still not back in the theaters. I will watch Equalizer 3. I'm not sure that I'm ready to go back in the theaters yet. It's partially coronavirus. It's partially bed bugs. And it's partially, I like watching movies at home now. I like watching movies at home. I got the big, what is that? Like 110 inch, or is that 120? It's a big projection. So I got the big projection screen. Turn off the lights, kick back. I mean, it's in the basement, so you got to keep your head on a swivel for little bugs. But I enjoy watching movies at home. At home now. So I don't know. Am I going to the movies to see it? Are y'all back to the theaters? Just in general, as people, are y'all... I don't know what this is playing on my phone. Just in general, as people, are y'all back to the theater? Or are y'all like, I got all the streaming services. I'm paying enough for this stuff. I can wait because eventually I got like every streaming service out there. Eventually it's going to hit my streaming service. That's where I am. Matter of fact, I got movies sitting in the queue that, like The Flash, I'm going to watch it just because. But it's been sitting there, about a week or so now. I'm waiting for John Wick number 4? I'm waiting for that to come. The Pope's Exorcist was one where I was like, oh, I would go to the movies to see that. But it came on to Netflix and I watched it at home. Good movie. And I recommended it to people. I'm like, my home is like the real HBO. My home is the box office. And I watch stuff from home. Mrs. Livingston keep asking me, are you ready? Are you ready to go back to the movies? Are you ready to go back to the movies? I'm like, no. Because I'm cool. But I do want to see Equalizer 3. But I can wait. I think I can wait. Diane, I'm still saying hellos, y'all. Diane says, hello, everyone. Today is my Friday. Yippee. All right. So I guess that means you're not working tomorrow. All right. There you go. And I did not call her the side piece of the week. She is not the side piece of the week. The sponsor has a side piece thing. She is not the side piece of the week. Or was not. Regina, good afternoon. Good afternoon. We got Brent in the house. Brent checking us out from Dallas, Texas. Quintano says, what's cracking? He's leaving Mount Carmel. All right. Uh, Claudette says she was just having fun. Jerica say, I'm back to nap age. As long as I ain't back to diaper age, it's all good. Claudette say, so you don't want him to know you my cousin? Claudette, I didn't know I was your cousin. I had no idea. You gonna have to show me a family tree or something. I didn't know we was cousins. Um, Anthony says they all come around eventually. E. Janice, Janice is getting there. Um, Janice says she know what I mean. She just decided not to do it, just being contrary for no reason. So I thought we was cool, Janice. I thought we was cool. I thought we had buried the hatchet, whatever we was hatcheting about. I thought we buried it and we was cool. But now you want beef. Now you want to have beef with me. I'm not saying you want beef. You want to have beef with me. When it came out, I didn't like the way it sounded, because of the whole gender thing. But, my impersonation of Lincoln is hilariously horrible. All right, all right. Jerica says, now I'm a jocker. You be jocking. You be jocking sometimes. You do. You know me. I had to be honest. And yeah, now he stopped. He stopped it. Forget Lincoln on the air earlier defending 3CDC. He was. Even when, he was like, well, basically I had to agree with everything negative that you said about 3CDC. He paused for like a quarter of a second and followed up with, but, I'm like, oh my goodness. That's just, if somebody tell you they're horrible. These are all the horrible things about them. And you're like, you're right. They are horrible. But, you're like, just stop what you're right. It's not even a comparison to anything else. I could see if they was comparing 3CDC to something else, and you're like, you're right, they are horrible, but they're equally as bad. But this is not even a comparison. And sometimes you can just say, okay, you're right. You got some good points there. And just let it go. You can just let it go. Jeannie, good afternoon. Terry, talking about Blake Maisland was your lawyer. You want to tell us the case? You want to tell us what was the case? Was you was hurt in an accident or he got you out of jail? I would rather hear about the jail case. Sean says, good afternoon, B. Good afternoon. Oh, that's right. He could be I don't remember what the name of it is. The old-timey senior care friend of the week. Yeah. Brenda, hello from Fairfield. Can CK be your first friend of the week? I'm not doing friend of the week. I'm not doing it. Because if I did citizen of the week, then I would have to be, out trying to figure out who's doing what this week in the city of Cincinnati. And one of those people who are actually out doing something this week and had some sort of an impact, that would be the citizen of the week, not just somebody in my phone. They gotta wait till the check clear. For the sponsor for the friend of the week. That's funny. Let me scroll. Y'all being silly. We got Scott checking in. Good afternoon, Scott, from somewhere in Georgia. We got Daryl in the house. Daryl says, what up, E-Man? Just got out of that boring quarterly meeting. Hey, at least you getting paid to go to a boring quarterly meeting. Good for you. If I want to know, Tierra, how much did Lincoln pay for the call? Oh, I like Tierra. I've met Tierra once, and she was a really nice person to me when I met her. And that's kind of how I judge people. That's one of the things. Like I met her, she was nice to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like overly friendly or nothing like that. You ain't got to do all of that. Just be nice. Like if I say hi to you, you say hi to me. And you know what I'm saying? You look pleasant and you treat me pleasantly. As far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, you're a good person. Now, if I find out you're doing some bad stuff, then I'll be like, all right, she was nice to me. She might not be a great person, but she was nice to me. The I haven't heard anything negative that she's doing, harming people or anything. So as far as I'm concerned, Tierra Powell is a good person. She's a good person. So there you go. That's that. That's all I have to say about it. Who would I like to see it sponsored by? I had to think about that. I had to think about that. Maybe by some of them PSAs. I'd like to see the I don't want to be a piece of garbage when I grow up friend of the week. Something like that. Janice says that's the good thing about having your own show. You can make up any criteria for anything that you want. And I agree with you. But that's also the beauty of being an independent human is that you can mock whatever criteria that person makes up. Um, Davis Denise says Arc 018, free movies all day. All right. Sierra said, I'm beginning to prefer my projector over the theater. Nikki. Good afternoon, Nikki, by the way. She says, bed bugs is reason enough. She actually said enough of a reason, but I think I executed the thought behind it, if not the actual words. Claudette says, you like at home because you're getting old. That could be a part of it. That could be a part of it. I'm telling you, the older I get, the less I want to go out. Like I be watching people and people be on Facebook living their best Facebook life. I don't know what I say their best Facebook or Instagram life. I do have Instagram. I still ain't never really posted anything to Instagram, but I have it. I'll be seeing people living their best Instagram and Facebook life and all that kind of stuff. And I'll be like, all right, I'm glad you out and about. And then I'll put the phone down and, throw my recliner back and I'll be like, good for them. And you ready to watch this movie? I don't necessarily be wanting to go out. I don't necessarily be wanting to go out. I like to go out and see a live band here and there. I guess this is a part of the reason why. When I go out, I'm typically going out working. Again, I like to be the behind the scenes guy. So I'm either doing sound for some event or, performing at some, club, bar, whatever, outdoor event, whatever. I'm typically a part of the entertainment. I don't really go out much just to enjoy the entertainment. Again, I've had this conversation before because some of the way that I enjoy entertainment makes the entertainment unenjoyable for Mrs. Livingston to a degree. Like when we go see a live band and I'm pointing out either the things that they're doing that are really good, in my opinion, or the things that they did that were really bad. And we went and saw this band, and the band was good. But whoever was doing the sound, they had the guitar like way too thin. And we couldn't even hear the main keys. We could hear the auxiliary keys very prominently. But the main keys we could barely hear. And, the vocalists were good. There was a couple songs where maybe the singer started on the wrong key and then they had to be corrected. But nobody wants to sit there watching a band, enjoying themselves, listening to you critique or even compliment. Because when they would do stuff good, I would be like, that's good. And she'd be like, it wasn't that good. I'd be like, you just don't know how hard it is to do that. I'm telling you, that was good. And I know she'd be thinking, like, Ian, can we just enjoy the show? And then sometimes she never really say it while we in the moment. But like, she has this rule now. We have a rule. Like she legit, I'm gonna say, had to make a rule. She had to make a rule. I let her make rules sometimes. Sometimes. And she had to make a rule. The rule is simple. When we are out, when we go to a show, to a church, to watch a live band or, something like that, you are not allowed to go and mess with the sound guy. You are not allowed, I don't care how bad it sounds, do not go over there fixing the sound. No matter what, you are not allowed to go over there and ask them, do they need help? You're not allowed to do that. Because I do that. I've been to a number of churches, and I'm like, oh, the people up there is giving they all and is losing something because the sound is so bad. Not that I'm like the best, front of house guy in the world, because I'm not, by a long shot. But if you worse than me, and so yeah, I'll go over and be like, hey, y'all need some help. And sometimes they be like, yes, yeah, we don't know what we doing. And then I get over there, turn that on, got some headphones, did that, all right. And then, oh, that sounds so much better. And all right. And the whole time she's sitting there, now she's sitting alone while I'm, fixing the sound. And she like, don't do that. We were at some event at convention center. Same thing. It just sounded terrible. And I was like, y'all all right over there? Y'all need some help? And they're like, we all right. And I'm like, right, it don't sound good. Like, that mic is super muffled. Oh, it's just, no, it's not. Here. Now it's clear. See? They mad at me, but we can all now understand what's being said. And she like, why'd you go do that? And I'm like, because now we can understand what is actually being said. So, yeah, we got a new rule now. No going over to the sound guy no matter what. All of that to say, I don't go out much anymore. And it might be because I'm getting old. It could be because I'm getting old. Let's see. Madonna want to see John Wick 4 too. I'm waiting. It's got to be coming to one of the streaming services. In my mind, it's coming to Max. So I keep looking for it on Max. I'm not looking up to see when it's going to be streaming. I just like to be surprised. Daryl is getting on my nerves. I got a jailbreak Fire Stick, well, a couple of them, so all my movies in the theaters I can watch in the comfort of my home unless me and the wife do a dinner movie night out. Now, you're getting on my nerves because you don't have to jailbreak a Fire Stick. You just put the program on there. Like, before they released, what was the Apple TV 2, I believe it is? Apple TV 1 and 2, you had to jailbreak to put those programs on there. That means you had to actually get in there and kind of rewrite some of the programming. I might even be using the wrong terminology there. For the people who really know about it, if I'm using the wrong terminology, I'm sorry, I'm getting on your nerves. But you had to actually change the programming of the device to allow it to accept what you was trying to do. That's jailbreaking. You don't have to jailbreak a Fire Stick. You just got a Fire Stick on it with that program. Stop saying it's a jailbroken Fire Stick. It's not. You go to YouTube, type it in. How do I put this on my Fire Stick? It's probably a process that takes all of 20 minutes, and it's there. You just follow the steps. It's not jailbroken. I'm sorry, one of my little pet peeves. Chelsea, hey Eli. Miss Pittsburgh. I got something in my throat, and I don't have nothing down here to drink. I want that movie too, Pope Exorcist. Real good movie. It's on Netflix, and it is a good movie. It is a good movie. Nikki want to know how about the turkey of the week? David says that did sound good. Yeah, that's my chat. I want to beef. Uh, Drop says, "What up, Emanuel? Stop being cheap and spend $30. Take Mrs. Livingston out for a movie and possible dinner." Excuse me. We go out to dinner. We go out to dinner. No problem. Sitting in a movie theater, though. Sitting in a movie theater. I don't know who was in the seat before. I know they didn't come in and clean it. And I used to in mind, like when we went up to Northgate, they had the good leather seats where you can basically recline all the way back and all that kind of stuff. And that was cool. But, Tier says she's nice to everyone. I'm so far behind on these comments. Hold on, let me go further. Let me go further. Go further, go further. Mary says, leave it alone, not your sound. That's the new rule, so I just let it be what it's gonna be. And then later on, one of the guys in the band was like, how does it sound? And I was like, y'all sound good. The sound is not so great. It's like, well, why didn't you tell me during the show? I'm like, we got a rule. We got a rule. I just had to leave it alone. Well, they call it jailbreak. I'm going to call it jailbreak. But it's not jailbreak. It's not jailbroken. You paid somebody some extra money to jailbreak you a Fire Stick that didn't need to be jailbroken, and you could have did the same thing for free. That's what I be talking about. What's wrong with y'all? What's wrong with y'all? Jack says, okay, but that's what everyone calls it, and we know what it means. So what? Be willing to learn something new. Because everybody be paying for it too. And if you learn that it's not actually jailbroken and you can do the same thing in less than 20 minutes, then maybe you'll stop paying $50, $100 to somebody to do something that you can do. See, just learning. Just learning. There's nothing wrong with learning. Can you still have Spectrum and still use a Fire Stick? You can have nothing, just internet, and use a Fire Stick. Yeah, you just need some sort of a internet connection. But technically you don't if you just get stuff, but you need an internet connection for all practical purposes. You need an internet connection, but you don't need a cable connection. Just internet. So yeah. LC, good afternoon. And LC says movies at home are the best. Yeah. Movies and dinner is definitely more than $30. It's $100 plus. All theaters have the leather reclining seats except for the traditional ones. For example, the one in Clifton. You're right, the one in Clifton don't. Well, not recently, but I saw Avengers Infinity War up at the Esquire. But that's when Movie Pass. Anybody remember Movie Pass? Look, I got the best. Movie Pass was, for those of you who don't know, and I understand it's back out, but it's different. Movie Pass was this thing that was doomed to failure. But you pay $10 a month, or at least for mine, $10 a month for a subscription, and you can go to the movies and see as many movies as you want to see. And I was like, this ain't real. I said, this ain't real. But it's only $10. I'll give it a shot. So I bought me one, and then $20. I bought Mrs. Livingston one. For $10, they sent us the card, had our name on everything. It was just like a little debit card. And you go to the movies and you give them your little debit card and they swipe it and you go watch the movie. It was like you just paid for a movie. So we was going 3, sometimes 4 nights a week watching movies. So at that point I saw everything. I saw like little independent stuff that wasn't good. I saw some independent stuff that I would have never even heard of if it wasn't for Movie Pass. That was really good. And then of course it all crumbled. They building it back up, but that was when I had Movie Pass, and I was like, I'm gonna just go up to the Esquire and check out Avengers: Infinity War. E-Man can't not show anything, huh? I don't know what that means. Jason says I charge people to jailbreak. You ripping people. Whoa. Well, no, you're providing a service, but you're not jailbreaking. You are misrepresenting the service. You're misrepresenting the service if you're talking about fire sticks. I did it myself. I didn't pay for that. Oh, all right. You didn't jailbreak it then. Jason says it is jailbroken. It's not. It's not. Jack says nobody paying for it no more. Everybody knows how to do it now, or just don't use it anymore. Uh, Jason, uh, Jack say you lying. Jack say you lying. You don't charge people to do it because don't nobody pay for it. So Jack say you lying. Y'all fight that out and then tell me who won. Because Jason say he charged for it. Jack say don't nobody pay for it. One of y'all lying. One of y'all lying. Y'all figure it out and let me know. She needs Wi-Fi, but you say internet, and we know what you mean. She needs internet. She needs internet. You have to have access to the internet to even hook up your Wi-Fi to it. She needs the internet. Now I have a Fire TV, which is the little device. I don't need Wi-Fi because I can plug straight out of my router and go directly into that with the Cat 5 or Cat 6 cable. But I still need internet. Let's see. Pamela needs the programs to download on her Fire Stick. Maybe a good YouTube page for instructions. Somebody look up a YouTube page. Just go to YouTube, type in I don't even remember what it's called. I got rid of it for so long ago. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember what it's called. Sorry. But you can look it up on YouTube. Let's see. Cinemark is not my favorite theater, but they have the best movie club benefits, in my personal opinion. I have the best movie club benefits. At home. At home. Jason was the liar. uh, let's see. There is an uptick, they say, whoever they are. They say there's an uptick in COVID-19 cases, sparking mask mandates in some places. Here we go, pushing that anti-Democrat stuff. I don't want to talk politics today. I don't want to talk Democrat, Republican today. In some cities and universities, experts say summer surge does not threaten hospitals or more deaths. All right. Cody, yeah. Thank you. Drop Cody. Go on YouTube and just type in how to install Kodi on my Fire Stick. And a video should come up and it'll walk you right through it. It's really simple. Oh, Shannon says Cody is outdated. Don't they keep it updated? Don't they keep it updated? Sierra says, I'd be concerned about the download file containing malware. Well, I mean, what you're doing is, legal but illegal. So, yeah, you just take it, whatever you get, whatever happens, happens. Jack says, you ain't watching pay per view without a jailbroken fire stick, if you say so. If you say so. Shahar wants to know what's Cody. That's what apparently used to be. That's what it used to be called, a program that you can put, or what is it, an app? An app you can put on your Fire Stick that allows you to watch, um, basically bootleg movies. So you can watch everything, movies, TV shows, uh, live events. I used to watch some like pay-per-view fights and stuff like that I knew I wasn't gonna pay for. I used to do all of that stuff when I had Cody. And then I was like, you know what? If the man want to come after me, the last thing I need to be going to jail for. Like, oh, he talked bad about the police. Because y'all know I used to talk bad about the police. I don't do that no more. I don't do that no more. I love the police. Police are my best friend. Um, But yeah, I used to talk bad about the police, and I was like, they probably want to get me. Almost every police that I had met, like just met out, who knew of me, they was kind of mad at me. I was like, they might be out to get me. Last thing I want to do is give them that in to get me. Like, oh, fire stick, you got an FBI warning, you violating, and then I'll be in jail talking about, I didn't know it was illegal to be watching that stuff on Fire Stick. I was like, that'd be the worst way to go out. That'd be the worst way to go out. So yeah, I had to get rid of that, and now I just share passwords with everybody, and I got every streaming service out there. I only pay for two. But I got all of them, and it's not illegal. They trying to make it so that it's difficult to do, but it's not illegal. But do you have police officers over for dinner? I have had police officers over my house for dinner. I wouldn't say it's something that I do on a regular basis. But I've had police officers over my house for dinner. It's true. Those were not the ones who were mad at me. All right, let's see. What did I want to discuss? I done wasted a whole lot of time talking about absolutely nothing, which is lightweight what I wanted to do today. Cause I'm getting heavy. I'm getting heavy, y'all. Just Jericho says Netflix made everybody get their own account. Okay. If you say so. Um if you say so. But yeah, hearing all of this anti Republican, anti Democrat, pro Republican, pro Democrat, and it's just heavy. And I'm just tired of hearing it. And like people were not being reasonable. So I didn't want to talk about that today. I'm tired of being heavy and feeling heavy. Tired of it. You think you're right. Good. Roll with that. They think they right. Good. Roll with that. But here is what gets me. Not Democrat, not Republican. None of that. Here's what gets me. I'm tired of people using exceptionally faulty logic and then not understanding when people challenge the logic. They're not challenging the example. They're challenging the logic that you used in the example. And it's even hard for me to give a good example of it. because it happens so long. I mean, so often. And you're like, well, if the so and so is wrong, then why is this so and so? See, if this is this, then that's that. Look, I'm not going to do a great job of explaining this because I don't want to say any specific examples because then people going to call in getting stuck on the example, which is what people do. But when I get stuck on the example, I'm not talking about the example. I'm stuck on the example. I'm stuck on the logic. Because you should be able to apply the logic from that to something similar. And if the logic doesn't apply, then you might have some flawed logic. But people always want, well, I'm not even talking about that. And I'm not talking about that either. I'm talking about the logic behind it. It frustrates me. So I don't want to get heavy. I don't want to get heavy. Tierra says, do you think people should vote for 9 council members or block voting for 3 to 5 candidates? Here's what I think about that. And I can do this without getting heavy. Vote for the people that you think is going to work in your interest. So if there are 9 candidates running that you think all 9 of these will work hard for me, I share their views, their values, their morals, or whatever, I think they will be good representatives of me, vote for all 9 of them. I mean, again, the logic of this. Think about this. If there are 9 people running, say for Cincinnati City Council, when you can, if you're not here in Cincinnati, as many people can run for City Council, but the top 9 people get in. So there are people who say, well, you should only vote for 3 because that makes your ballot stronger. That means those 3 only get your votes. But what if it's 9 people that you really believe represent your interests? But you're trying to make your ballot stronger, so you leave off 6 people that would do an amazing job representing you. That's not reasonable to me. That's not reasonable to me. So you vote for the people that you think will have your best interest at heart, that represent you, because that's what you're voting for. Your representative on city council. If it's only one, only vote for one. Like, look, it was 823 people running for city council, but I thought only one of them could represent me effectively. That's the only one you vote for. Well, it was only 12 people, so I didn't want to vote for 9, but I thought that 9 of them could do. Don't make sense to not vote for them. You vote for however many people you believe represent or can effectively represent you on city council. Whatever that number is, up to 9. That's it. That's simple. You got a short vote. Good. Short vote if that's what you believe is needed, because those are the only ones. Does that make sense to anybody? Did that make sense? I get the logic behind only voting for 3 or only voting for 5 or only voting for 6. I get the logic behind it. I definitely wouldn't say vote for 9. Make sure you vote for 9. Because then, yeah, you're watering down your vote. So I like these 4, and I don't like none of the rest of them, but I got to fill in 9. Yeah, you're watering down your vote. All right. See how I did that? I actually answered the question. My belief. Nate says, I would like to see the voters elect Kelly Prather to Cincinnati City Council. That would show the man. I don't think she's running. I'm pretty sure She didn't turn in her stuff. I am wondering now that you said that. Now that you said that, had she turned in her ballots and signatures and then was convicted of something, could she still serve? Like, I mean, maybe not serve, but would she still be eligible to be on the ballot and be voted in? Would she? Nate says he's just checking in. Don't know what the topic is. It takes 5 votes to get anything done at City Hall. All right, but think about this. If only 3 people represent your interests that are running, only 3, you're going to vote for 2 people that you know absolutely does not represent your interests that stand against you just to say you voted for 5? If only 3 represent your interest, I'm sorry, you got a bad slate, and there's really nothing that you can do. But I wouldn't put 2 people in who don't represent my interest to say that I voted for 5. Although I understand that logic as well. Samuel says, I believe, based on my question, if she were on the ballot and she were convicted, she'd still be able to be a sitting city council member. I'm not sure if that's true. I'm not sure if that's true because, like, they boot people off for being charged, right? Like when, I don't know why I was about to call her Tamala. That woman's name is not Tamala. I can see her clearly in my mind. What is her name? Was on city council, got charged with a crime, and spent some time in jail, and now she's out doing amazing things. What is her name? Her name is not Tamala. I don't know where Tamala is coming from. Tamaya, thank you. When she was charged, they was like, boop, you out of here. So if just the charge will get you off of council, I think being convicted might stop you from being on council, right? Well, Kelly has been convicted and is waiting on sentencing. But she's in jail waiting on sentencing, correct? Like, they didn't let her out because a couple of those charges have mandatory sentencing. I think, is it 2 years? For two of the charges had 2-year mandatory sentencing. So, you know, based on that, she's gonna get 2 years. Or maybe 4. I'm not sure if it was, she has to do the 2 separately. Marion Barry was reelected in D.C. after getting caught smoking crack in a hotel with his mistress. Right, but that's, after he had gone and, all of that had been adjudicated and that was over. He didn't, like, get convicted and then elected the next day or the next week or the next month. After he had gone to jail, served his time, and then gotten out and run again. So that's a different situation. It's a different situation. Black Lion says, I'm not voting until black people are on one accord about getting our trillions of black tax dollars back into our community. Other than that, F it. Okay. Look, I won't say we had a discussion, but we talked about this before. I don't believe that you have to vote. Personally, I believe you should. But you got every right to not vote. I'm not here to convince you to vote. Well, sort of, I am. I tried. But not necessarily for voting's sake. Remember, I was trying to convince you to vote because, at least here in Ohio, or here in Hamilton County, because I understand that in certain other places in Ohio, things are different. I believe I heard Cecil Thomas saying that. But at least here in Hamilton County, if you're not registered to vote, you're not eligible to be on a jury. So I say register to vote. Don't vote if you don't want to vote. Just register to vote. And then you become eligible to be on a jury. Then you can sit in judgment of, someone. You can be one of the. Are you a trier of the facts on a jury? Or are they the trier of the facts on? Either way, you can be there to make a decision, to be heard, to try to administer actual justice. But we had that conversation once. You said you thought about it and you decided it wasn't worth it for whatever the reason was. I respect that. I'm not one of these people telling you you don't have a voice if you don't vote and all of that kind of stuff. Nate says, "Oh, really? I was looking for her this morning. She not in federal prison. Maybe she's still at the county jail." My guess, and this is just me guessing, is that she's probably still at the county jail until the actual sentencing. But my understanding is they took her straight to jail. They said, "Go to jail. Go straight to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go directly to jail. Stand up. No, we mean right now. Stand up. Put your hands behind your back. Click, click, click. Let's go." But I could be wrong. I mean, that was what I saw, heard, and read. Black Lion said, "Thanks. Basically, that's what you said last time. And I still stand by that. You can register and not vote. And then just make sure you register repeatedly. Make sure you register repeatedly. So then that way you stay eligible to be a juror." Now, again, look, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're going to ever call you for jury duty. I'm old. I've never been called for jury duty, and I've been registered since I was 17. Never been called for jury duty. And I know friends, I got some white friends who have served multiple times on jury duty. It seemed like every other month, Chad was getting called for jury duty. Yeah, Chad, white dude at the radio station, who's a really good dude, by the way. But it felt like every other month, Chad was like, "Oh, I'm not going to be here because I got jury duty." And I'd be like, "What?" And they'd be like, "Oh, you got to come in and cover the morning show for Chad. He's got jury duty." And I'd be like, "Fuck." Because I hated the morning show. Fuck. Got to go do the morning show. Damn jury duty. And for a time, we had a white guy named Matt. And they'd be like, "Oh, Matt got called in for jury duty. You got to come and run the morning show." I don't know why the white dudes always run the morning show. Like, you got to run. I guess they don't want nobody that's going to be late. That's racist. That's racist of them to think that way. But yeah. "Oh, Matt, you got to run the morning show." "Why? Where's Matt?" "Oh, he's got jury duty." Jury duty? Why they get jury duty and I don't get jury duty? And I think each one of them served multiple jury duties. I've never been called for jury duty. So I'm not saying you necessarily will, but at least you'll be eligible. Black Lion said they don't pick black people for juries, at least not many. But you could be one of the few. The few. The proud. The black jurors. That could be you. LaDonna says they never called me for jury duty. Well, me either. She says she's 54. She's been registered since she was 18. Emanuel, you said that most black people are perceived as non-voters. Okay. I'm not sure what the point is that you were making by making that statement. If you could clarify that for me, I would appreciate it. Why did this computer just restart? Just out of nowhere. Daggone Chromebook. I would not recommend. Um, Tierra says, I know she has a Fed case, but we have people out on $1,500 bond for shooting people. They can let her out while awaiting sentencing. Look, I'm not disagreeing that they could let her out, but at least in my mind, nobody actually ever said this. But in my mind, the reason why they weren't is because she had some mandatory time that she had to serve. So this will be time served this time while she's even waiting for sentencing. Like she can't just get probation. So they'd be like, all right, we'll go home. Like, now you got some mandatory time. We don't have a choice. So, I don't know if that's how they do it with everybody else. Like if you are convicted on a case where you get mandatory time, do they ever let you go home? Do they ever? All right, you're convicted. We know this case carries a 5-year mandatory term plus whatever we choose to tack on, if anything. Go home, and then we'll let you know what we gonna do later. Or is it like, no, it's mandatory. You just go to jail. Start serving that time now in the county until we figure out what we gonna do. You had them over for dinner. No, I actually never had either of those two gentlemen over for dinner. Uh, they haven't called you for jury duty. F it. Why bother? You never know. They might. Now, I genuinely believe if I ever get called for jury duty, I'll get disqualified quickly and easily. But I got my answers ready for them. Whatever they ask me. Because here's the bottom line. No matter what, I know that I can look at the facts. I can put aside my own feelings and, all of that kind of stuff. And just look at the facts and judge a case based strictly on the facts. No matter what the case is. I know I can do it. So, isn't it time for Hamilton County to build a new jail? I didn't support it back in the day, but come on now, how old is too old? It's still standing. It's still standing. They can do some rehab if they need to. Why they need a new jail? Is the old jail crumbling? I don't care if it's, as old as the Colosseum in Rome. If you look at it and you like, that look good for an 800-year-old building, then roll with it. Roll with it. Preston says she's in on federal charges, I believe, so she shouldn't be in the county jail. Well, no, I believe that's where they hold you. They hold you in county jail when they try you. Like they don't necessarily have federal prisons in every county in America. So wherever you're going, maybe if they got like a federal, but that don't even make sense that they would do that. They typically, at least my understanding, they typically you'll be in county jail while you going through your trial and waiting for your sentencing. Vincent says, I've been called upon 2 times for jury duty. Did you serve? Or did you do like a lot of people do and try to get out of it? Tree had been called 3 times. What are y'all doing to get called? And did you serve? Or did you try to get out of it? Terry was on a grand jury in 96 and 99. So you were actually on a grand jury. Interesting. Anthony said, got my chance to put a white cat in jail. I'm not sure what that means. Preston says, just think if people like us was on jury duty, Ray Tenzing would probably be behind bars. Maybe. Maybe. Because I always remember Judge Tracy Hunter. There were black people on that jury who should have stuck to their guns and said not guilty, but they didn't. So maybe the same thing would have happened. Drop.
What's up, E-Man?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. Hey, I just wanted to call in real quick. You was talking about jury duty, and I worked for the Postal Service. I was a mailman for 27 years, and I got called 4 times, but I never actually sat on the jury because of in the military, I was a military policeman. Plus, I was black in a predominantly Hispanic and white county. So I was never called on the jury, but, I was never seated, but I got called 3 times, and I think it was because of my occupation.
Now, when you were not seated, did you ever get a chance? Like, were you ever in the box, even for the, what is it,
yes.
or whatever?
Yes, 2 out of the 4 times.
And was there, did they use their, see, I'm trying to brush up on this stuff because I don't remember, their preemptive challenges on you, or did they kick you off for cause?
Well, one of the cases was I think it was vehicle manslaughter or something, and the defendant was Hispanic. No, a white woman. And another one was a Hispanic dude on some type of money case or something. But in the first case, the prosecution wanted me. And then the defense said no. So I was selected, and then I was kicked out.
All right.
Because I was a military policeman in the military.
Well, hold on, drop. Did the defense say why they wanted you gone, or did they just use one of they kind of preemptive challenges where we can just get rid of him and not necessarily give a reason?
Well, the defense didn't want anyone on the jury that had any type of relationship with law enforcement.
Okay.
None whatsoever, whether it was your spouse, if you worked as a second, nothing. They were getting rid of those people left and right. But in this case, because I did have a military police background and I was black, okay, the defendant was Hispanic. They wanted me on the jury, but then the other side said nah. Okay. So I was gone. But again, in the 2 times where I actually was in the box and was being questioned by the judge and the defense and the prosecuting attorneys, it always came down to either my race or my military, police, law enforcement background. Both, okay. It didn't matter. Either the defense wanted me and the prosecution didn't, or the prosecution wanted me and the defense didn't.
All right. So wait a minute. I just want to make sure, and this is a little bit of a side thing. So you do acknowledge that racism exists?
Of course, I always have.
Okay, I'm just asking. I don't.
Yeah, but
I'm not that familiar with you, so I'm still getting to know.
Okay, but see, the key is black people have always been taught all the way back to the beginning, and I don't have to bring up the analogy, but we've always been taught how to navigate the racism and the bigotry, and you can still be successful. Mm-hmm. Okay, but see, that's the thing. For you to say that it doesn't, for any black person over the age of 50 to say that there's no racism in America is bull. But a younger person, a young black person raised in a privileged black family could definitely say they've never experienced it. But somebody older, and they tell you there's no such thing, they full of shit. Sorry, the profanity.
No, that's all right. You can use profanity on this show. I don't use it, but you can. No, I agree with you, but I do hear a lot of people who I'm gonna use the term who say they're more conservative leaning or right leaning or Republican leaning, who will you can never show them something and they will admit race was a factor or that was racism. So that was why I asked, because I don't know necessarily your position on that. I even heard people when the guy went into the Family Dollar or the Dollar General in Florida, in Jacksonville, like, oh, that we don't have to bring race into this. That race didn't have nothing to do with that. And I'm like, clearly it did, but there are people.
Yeah, it was obvious.
Yeah, try to say that it didn't, and I'm like, you're not living in reality. So I just was checking.
But see, Emanuel, those people have an agenda, okay, and they could be private citizens, or they could be political figures, or they could be people from corporate America who make these statements. And again, like I tell everybody who I call into their show, it's only because 88% of black people during presidential elections vote for the Democrat Party. And that's why I wrote in that statement in the chat that a couple days ago, when I asked you the question, if someone on the street pointed to a black person and asked any other person of any other race, what political party do you think they support? 9.9% of the time, those people are going to say the Democrat Party. But you came up with a response which wasn't part of the choices. You said they would respond, oh, black people don't vote.
Yes, I did cheat.
Again, that was you being intellectually dishonest for a reason.
It wasn't.
For a reason, because that wasn't the question. That wasn't the choice that the man on the street was given.
But I'm saying
I didn't say, do you think that person ever voted?
I wasn't being intellectually dishonest. What I was
doing.
Yeah,
you didn't answer the question.
No, what I was doing was I was looking at the numbers and what percentage, and I mean, I have to look it up, but what percentage of black people actually vote? It's a very small percentage.
That's why.
It's like, what is it? Like
I never
30%? Is it something like that?
Livingston. But see, Emanuel, when I call the shows that allow me to speak on, I don't call to try to make you look bad.
I didn't think
I just want you to acknowledge some of the things that makes a black person go from Democrat to Republican. It's because they use us and they manipulate us. They exploit our pain and suffering for political gain. And when you have black people in a local community who have local issues, but their local politicians are using the money from Washington, D.C., and they're using it for criminal activity, and I don't want to mention no names because this happened the cases that have been brought in the Cincinnati area over the last 5 years is unbelievable. Okay, so I'm saying when black people support the Democrat Party to get money from D.C. to come to the local politicians to distribute it to the black people who need it, they've just always had their hands in it since the 60s, Emanuel, and that's all I try to point out. You know, just look at, you got other options. You don't have to just automatically discount the other party because you think that if you do, you're going to be looked at a certain way by possibly members of your family, people who love you, just because you express a different political opinion.
I'm sorry that you've ever felt that way. I can't say for a fact that nobody feels that way, but I would like to think that strong people don't really care. But there was one thing that you said, and I really don't want to get into it, Maybe next time you call, let's discuss it.
Well, you know I'm retired. I ain't got nothing but time,
That's all right.
brother.
Maybe next time you call, let's discuss it. You talked
Yes, sir.
about leaving the Democratic Party, which
Yes.
is absolutely fine. I'm not beholden to the Democratic Party, but just because you leave the Democratic Party, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to vote and recruit for Republicans.
But that's your perception. I have no
No, no, no. I
control
didn't.
over how
Hold on. Stop. I
you
didn't. No,
perceive
I didn't say you
my
are.
words.
I'm just saying, just as a statement of fact. Not. It's not an accusation. It's just a statement. And then, like I said, maybe we can discuss it next time. Just because
Well, we both okay,
one
but we both
leaves,
talking.
right? But
Yes,
I don't necessarily
but we're
want to
both
be on
talking
here
to the
for
same audience,
the next
Emmanuel.
30 minutes
When I
having this
ask a
discussion.
question posed to you, I want your response is for your audience. It's not necessarily for me,
Well,
because I'm posing a question that maybe an audience member could be thinking.
I
And that's
think
a simple question.
I
So
think my
would you allow me
audience.
to ask you the question
I
one
think
more time?
right, but I think my audience is savvy enough to understand a lot of this stuff, even without that question being asked. But even with it being asked, I think they're savvy enough to understand potentially the logic behind the answer that I would give.
Okay, well, pose the question to your audience. And before you do that, I'll give you an example, because someone in the chat, you read their question about voting for multiple city council members, even though you only like one or two. Okay, you remember what you told her to do.
Well, that wasn't actually the question, but I do remember.
Okay, right. So she was selective in her voting. Okay, and then I also commented that they need to stop putting party affiliation next to a candidate's name, because a lot of people, they don't really know who they're voting for. They're usually voting for someone that they either heard about or someone else spoke about this particular candidate. So when they get their ballot and they see a D by their name, they're pretty much going to check it because of the D, not because they know who this candidate really is. But it's nothing wrong. That's how a lot of people vote. But because of shows like yours, Emmanuel, more people are being informed how politics work. So here's my question that I asked you the other day, and I want you to ask your audience.
All right.
If you saw a black person on the street,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care where you are, Cincinnati, wherever, and someone asks you, what party do you think that black person votes for? That's the question. You can't add all this other stuff into it.
Well,
If someone pointed out a black person on the street,
I'm not
ask
sure
your
that
audience.
I'm not sure that it's as easy to answer that question, at least for me. Even taking away my idea that, there are a lot of people who would say they don't vote. But
Well,
I think
I don't
to
know who
some
those
degree,
people are,
and
because in your audience
I know this sounds
today,
crazy,
everybody voted.
Drop, but to some degree, what do the person look like? That matters.
See, I don't even want to go down that road. I just want you to pose the question to your audience and let them put it up in the chat.
All right.
Because see, again, I'm not trying to be sarcastic with the question.
All right.
But it's a legitimate question that most black people have never been asked. But they respond to another black person when they say they're a Republican, as if they're supposed to be a Democrat.
I really don't think, I think you have a jaded view. I don't think people, I don't think about it in that way. Like,
okay, all right.
Again, the issue for a lot of people is not what party you belong to. The issue for a lot of people is the way that you carry yourself and how you articulate that. And I think a lot of people can sniff out BS. And so when people think, let me finish. When people think, oh, they don't like me because I'm not a Democrat. Oh, they don't like me because I support Republican. Oh, they don't like me because I'm conservative. It's probably something else about you. something that you've said or something that you've done that lets them see you full of S. And that's why
Oh my
they have an
God.
issue with you. It's not so much, well, I don't like him because he votes Republican.
But see, again, like I said, Emmanuel, I am not new to this, okay? And the reason I love the Nathan Ivey show, I love Wyatt, and I love you in your new format, as opposed to corporate radio, you have to wait forever on hold. And then once you get on, you are limited to 1 or 2 minutes and then you out.
But that's true.
And that's why I like you guys. And I think the reason that you guys, considering who your audience is, the reason you let me come on is because there are a lot of things that you agree with me on. But it's when we get into that black, Democrat, Republican dynamic, that's where the emotion come in.
Well, I don't know that there's a lot of things that I don't know that there's a lot of things that I agree with you on, because I haven't talked to you long enough to really get a feel for what you believe in. And if you take every conversation that we have and somehow flip it and make it a Republican versus Democrat thing, then I'll probably never know where you actually stand on issues. And again, that becomes a lot of people's issue with talking to people who are, oh, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican. I don't care about your party. What you think about this? And I think that because the Democrats, and then it's like, man, get out of here with that. So I don't know.
But see, Manuel, with you read one of my comments and I put in the word Democrat. And you got triggered just over the word Democrat.
Because we weren't talking about it had nothing to do with Democrats. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay, but what I'm going to say is, then I'm getting ready to get out of here unless you want me to stay, is that the emotional response you had as a black person,
it's not an emotional
from what I know about you on the radio when you was on the buzz and now that you on YouTube, it's like you feel you have to defend the Democrat Party.
No, that's just it.
That's why the other day you said you lean. That's why the other day you said you lean to the left, but you've never voted for a Republican in your life.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did. I asked you if you've ever voted for a Republican, and you said no.
That's not true.
Okay. Well, clear up the misunderstanding then.
I have voted for Republicans.
Was it local or in yes, presidential?
Local. Yes.
Okay. All right. That's cool. Okay,
so
I take back everything I said.
That wasn't the question that you asked. But
it came out of your mouth.
It didn't.
It came out of your mouth.
No, the question you asked was, had I ever voted for a Republican candidate for president, which is different than have I ever voted for a Republican. But let me say this.
Well, yeah, okay, go ahead.
Here's what happens. Right? So let's say we talking about your favorite flavor of Jolly Rancher. And everybody like, oh, I like the grape ones. Oh, I like the apple ones. Oh, I like this. And then somebody like you, not saying you specifically, although I might not be surprised if you did, somebody would come in and say...
You talking to me, Emmanuel. What you mean you ain't asking me? You talking to me.
Don't get lost on the example through the point. As they say, don't miss the forest for the trees. Hear me out. So then someone like you might then come on and say, well, I like the whatever the red one is. I like it because the Republicans are red and Democrats are blue, so I don't like them blue ones. And you're like, what the hell does Republican and Democrat have to do with your favorite flavor of Jolly Rancher? And that's you sticking Democrat in the middle of a conversation that had nothing to do with either party is why people look at sometimes people who like, oh, I'm a Republican, because they trying to push that Republican agenda down our throat when we not talking about Democrats or Republicans. Why even bring it up? And then, well, I'm not trying to get nobody to become no Republican. Then why, when we talking about Jolly Ranchers, are you bringing up that you like the red ones because the Republican Party is the red color? Like, it's like, come on, bro. That irritates people. That's why it wasn't an emotional reaction.
You got triggered.
It was a reaction like, why? Why are you bringing up Republicans and Democrats? We're not talking about Republicans and Democrats.
But, Emmanuel, was it because the comment or the statement came from me?
No, anybody else. But see,
yes,
it's like the chicken and the egg argument. It came from you, but nobody else would have brought Democrat or Republican into the conversation. Only
CK did
you
it the
would
other
bring
day.
it.
CK did it the other day.
That was in response to
And you
you.
was
That's got nothing to do with
smiling,
what
you
we
was
were talking about
teasing.
earlier.
Okay, all right. I ain't gonna go there because see that's the one thing that usually doesn't happen in this type of format where the host has the show. He should have every show already racked up. So if anybody says that he didn't say XYZ, all he's got to do is go back and play
No,
exactly
you're
what
right.
was said.
And
So
that doesn't even
again,
make sense. But
hey, bro, again, I love the format. I love the fact that you give me the opportunity to speak. And you know, after our 2 or 3 conversations, you know I ain't crazy. And you know I ain't that stereotypical black Democrat that you always assume I am. And then after we talk, you say, oh, okay, all right, I thought. But that's cool. I love the fact that me and you have our dialogue.
I know that you are hyper focused on
Politics.
no, it's not even necessarily politics.
It is.
You're hyper focused on Republican versus Democrat.
Without the 2 in the game, there's nothing to comment on.
But you even bring it up when we're not talking about politics and the conversation has nothing to do with politics. You're hyper
But you
focused
can't
on it.
avoid it.
You can.
Emanuel.
You absolutely can. If someone asks you your favorite flavor of Jolly Rancher, don't bring up Republicans or Democrats.
That was your analogy. That wasn't no fact. That ain't no real shit. You just
That's what I'm
made that
telling
up
you in terms
as if
of
it's real.
any conversation that has
To me, it was
nothing
stupid.
to
To me,
do with
it was stupid.
with politics.
To me, it was stupid.
Any conversation that has nothing to do with politics, don't bring politics into it unnecessarily. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, Manuel. What that statement we're talking about that had the word Democrat in it was about what? What was it about, Emanuel?
I don't even remember. I know we wasn't talking
Exactly.
about parties.
That's my point. You got triggered by the word. It was about the possible coming COVID restrictions about this little outbreak that's happened over the summer.
That's what we was talking about.
And
Movie theater seats.
You know good and damn well.
You brought it to my remembrance. We were talking about movie theater seats, and somehow you spun that into COVID-19 and somehow the Democrats being bad. But the conversation was about movie theater seats.
Not what you read.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Jolly Ranchers, and you talking about Democrats and Republicans.
Emanuel, I love your show, brother, but I don't call to go back and forth to argue with the host. I want to put information out there, the original question. You may not ever ask your audience the question, but I'll put it out there.
You asked them.
Okay? The question is, if someone on the street stopped you and asked you a question, maybe gave you $5 for your time, and pointed at a black person, doesn't matter what gender, and said, do you think that person is a Democrat or a Republican?
Uh-huh.
That's the question.
All right, but
most people are going to answer Democrat.
Okay, that's fine. That was your question. But now let's put the question on the table.
Yeah, but how did you answer the question?
But let's put the question on the table.
You answered the question with black people don't vote.
Let's put the question on the table that we were actually discussing. Have you gone back to the movies, or are you like me, still watching movies at home? And how you got that to Republican and Democrat. So let's put that aside.
No,
have you gone back to the movies? Have you gone back to the movies? Or are you still like, I'll watch it when it come on one of the apps?
Okay, so COVID was the reason that people stopped going to the movies, Emanuel.
Just answer the question. Have you gone back to the movies, or are you still watching movies at home?
Oh, I watch movies at home. I already told you about the Cody. I told you about the Cody
All right then.
hookup. I'm
So
watching my
that's
shit at home.
so there you go. That's the
But I
answer.
was doing that. I was doing that before COVID,
All right then. So
Emmanuel.
there you go. That's the answer. That's it.
Were you
There you
doing
go.
it before? Were you doing it before?
No.
You were going to the movies. Because
Well,
remember,
yeah.
I'm 62. I'm old.
Told you
I'm
I was.
already old. But you getting those old people tendencies.
I got a
But
lot of
again, Emmanuel, the COVID restriction thing was definitely political. It's a reason why a lot of people got
But
more
we not.
comfortable at
But we
home
not.
instead of going out.
Look, I'll talk about COVID restrictions on tomorrow. All right, and then you can bring up all the Republican Democrat stuff you want.
Nah, hey, I love calling your show, and I know you read the comments as me and you are conversating.
I do.
And again, brother, I'm retired. I'm almost a regular on your show, Emmanuel, because sometimes when I'm walking, I can't listen to Wyatt. But now it's like, well, let me see what E-Man talk, because y'all talk about each other's shows now. You're in his chat. He was just in your chat.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of feeling this right now, Emmanuel, because you can tell, bro, I love doing it. And it's something about y'all people in Cincinnati. I don't know what it is.
Drop.
But,
I gotta
yeah.
run. Hey, I appreciate your call.
All right, bro.
All right.
All right, peace out.
All right. That was drop. Yeah, I didn't want to get heavy today and all into politics and stuff. I didn't want to get heavy and all into politics. That's it. So I didn't. I was gonna say some stuff about what Wyatt had said, and I decided I'll hold it. Because I didn't want to get into politics and stuff. Not today. Told y'all I feel heavy. Not just because I'm fat. I feel, mentally, emotionally heavy. And when I feel like that, I don't want to talk about no heavy stuff. Wyatt says, and hopefully the conclusion was, if we not talking about politics, don't bring up politics. That's it. If we talk about politics enough to where you can bring up politics. But if the question is, you still watching movies at home, or you back in the theater? Well, the Democrats, what? Are you still watching movies at home, or have you gone back to the damn theater? See the Republicans in. So hopefully that's the conclusion that we came to. Is that we will stay on topic as best we can. Oh, hopefully. What else? All right, I said I want to keep it light. But there was this story that I have that's anything but light. Oh, where is it? All right. Just to let y'all know, people out here still crazy as ever. Let's see if I can get this up on the screen. Norwood man allegedly used his fake Facebook account to tell parents that he would rape, murder, and eat their children. So you go into the story. A Norwood man is accused of sending threatening social media messages to parents saying that he wanted to rape, cannibalize, and brutally murder their young daughters. In June, Justin Smith, 31, messaged a parent saying he wanted to spit roast her 8-year-old daughter, according to Hamilton County court documents. He allegedly interacted with the parents on Facebook with an account under the name of Bobby Hill. Then in July, he was accused by another parent saying that he shared social media posts of her daughter and said that he wanted to eat and brutally rape the 6-year-old. He is facing 2 telecommunications harassment charges. He was given a $10,000 bond for each charge. In August, Smith got another charge after he allegedly sent sexual messages to a person he thought was a 12-year-old girl. He allegedly told the girl he would love to kiss her along with other sexually explicit requests too graphic for WCPO to print. The girl turned out to be an undercover police officer. According to court documents, he used his Bobby Hill account to reach out to the decoy. The decoy said they immediately recognized Smith once he sent pictures of himself. The Norwood Police Department had multiple run-ins with Smith due to his involvement with a large homeless population in the area. In court Wednesday morning, Smith's lawyer said her client is denying that the message came from him and said that someone could easily have used Smith photos to create the Bobby Hill account. A judge set Smith's bond for the importuning charge at $50,000, and he'll be back in court on September 8th. On September 8th. Let's see, they got a picture of the gentleman. Gentleman, he ain't no gentleman, if what they say is true. They got a picture of the guy. Just want to let y'all know, there's crazy people out there. But crazy might not be the right word. I know some people will say, he's crazy. That's why he's doing it. It's because he's crazy. I don't know if I'll use crazy as that word. But be aware of what your children are doing on social media, who they're talking to, and all of that kind of stuff. Be aware of that. Be aware. No, that is not. I did not have him over for dinner. No, I did not. And be aware of all of these fake accounts. So that's why I try not to friend people. Before I had this policy, I have some people, but I try not to friend people who with fake accounts. When people send you a friend request and you look and ain't no picture, ain't no content on the page, none of that kind of stuff. In my mind, you some sort of a deviant. You might not be. You might just not be savvy. But I think, and speaking of somebody who probably on this page right now, if you savvy enough to create 16 different fake accounts, you savvy enough to put a picture up there. So I think if you ain't got one, you probably a deviant of some sort. You a deviant of some sort. So, look, y'all be careful, especially with the little kids. Watch them. Watch them on social media. They don't want you seeing what they doing. What you looking at? It's private. No, ain't nothing private. Let me see who you talking to. I need to go through your messages. I need to see all of that. Yes. Just be aware. Got to protect the valuable resource that is our children. All right. Emanuel, is it Blade that created that account, fake account? Blade got at least 5. No, he created a new one earlier today. So he got at least 6 fake accounts. At least 6 fake accounts. That's not proof that he's a deviant. The fact that he calls me Jim out of nowhere is evidence that he might be a deviant, at least in my book. But it's not proof. That don't prove it in a court of law. Say, he's a deviant? How can you prove it, Your Honor? Out of nowhere, he just started calling me Jim. That's all you need to say. Guilty. That wouldn't happen like that in a court of law. It wouldn't happen in a court of law. But you keep an eye on people like that. But no, genuinely, just make sure you're watching out for your kids. Make sure you're watching out for your kids, for your grandkids, all that good stuff. That was really it. That was the whole reason for me bringing that up. All right. My time is up, y'all. I got to get out of here. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me, not making it too heavy to the very end. Not making it too heavy. It gave me a minute to just rest and talk. Do me one favor. As you know, now I customarily ask at the end of the show, if you encounter people throughout the rest of your day, be the reason somebody smiles today. I'm Emanuel Livingston. Until next time, I'm out, y'all. Peace.